Hello, this is Dr. Garrett Castleberry, Program Director for Communication, Media, and Ethics here at Mid-America Christian University. I am here with our Week 2 video announcement. Not a video prompt. We already have those lock, stock in the shop, but I'm here with some important announcements as we kick off Week 2. Okay, so with Week 1, I want to go through some of the readings and then contextualize why it matters that we are keeping up to date with these, at least getting some exposure, especially in the initial weeks, because they play a heavy role into where we are headed. So, we started with Metellus, one of his earliest books, Television and American Culture, not one of his earliest books, but earlier book amongst the ones we're peeking into for this course, okay? And so while we initiate it and get real deep in Week 1 and Week 2, we have another chapter. It's Chapter 4, and this chapter, focusing on broadcast journalism, will help fill in some of those gaps and interest areas you all have talked about in terms of viewing or understanding television as a democratic institution, what that entails, what that means. So if you're seeking those answers, you're going to find it there. However, I also want to put a huge plug in to this book, Metellus' Complex TV, that we are starting in Week 2. There's a lot to work through there. Don't be afraid to visit and revisit it, right? This is the kind of book where underlining helps, marking, highlighting, and so on. Because what Metellus is interested here is building a method for performing TV analysis. And that's what I want to unpack really quick, is what is a method? Why is that important? So this is a recap of understanding what good's a reading do. Recognize this. Well, let me pause real quick. In addition, we may have a couple of small excerpts. They come from this book, TV the Book, and it is a compilation of, and again, subjective but informed, the top 100 television shows of all time, plus many more, from TV critics Alan Sepinwall and Matthew Zoller Seitz. And so there, we occasionally have some of their insights into why would a TV text be interesting to us for a given decade that we're studying, or for a given genre that we're looking at, like the sitcom, like the drama, and so on. Okay, and so occasionally we'll have those supplementary readings, and they're really quick reads, and hopefully you just gain more insights and information and be able to digest that. And maybe even there's some secondary resources that you may come across as you put together your own TV studies project. So that's the next thing I want to cover, and it's going to tie back into Metellus momentarily. So let me clarify that our Week 1 TV studies project feeds directly into Week 2. Okay, so each week we have a part of that assignment, and they definitely build toward one another chronologically. Okay, so if you didn't get that in, work to get that part of it in first, because it's important to brainstorm before you can move on with the project. And yet you need to brainstorm and get feedback so that you are able to take on Week 2's portion of this TV studies project. That is the research phase. The research phase, in some ways, it could be any number of experiences for you. Regardless, this is the great place for us to plug in and perform that part of the assignment. Next, we'll want to clarify that weekly discussion questions, usually it's assignment 1, and it's only the first 4 weeks, not week 5, our final week of the fast track course. Weekly discussions feed into the potential video lectures, so getting those in a timely manner is going to help create the potential for some video, some asynchronous dialogue, as we like to call it. But we need those responses submitted in order to generate that pool of discussion. I know we had an irregular week with the extra holiday coming on Monday. That said, we're still, we didn't gain a day in the course, so really we need to stay on top of that. And I think those assignment 1s we're trying to have due by that day 4, day 5 at the latest in the cycle, so that we're ready to do something with it on day 6 or 7. Okay. Next, Week 2, Metellus Complex TV book. This feeds directly into understanding a potential method or tool, analytic tool, that you could use to perform your television studies project analysis. And many of you have had either previous courses with myself or others and gained some exposure to methods, but some of you may have not gained exposure to some methods, some tools that are useful for studying and analyzing and critiquing all media, but television in particular, and this is an opportunity to plug one of those in. And so feel free to potentially practice another alternative method, but it would be really beneficial and helpful if we latch on and try to gain some experience from working through Metellus' poetics. His poetics method that he outlines for us. So it gives our book purpose. It gives our reading of the content purpose. And that's what we're all looking for in life, right? We're all looking for purpose. Final note, video posts, keep going. We're off to a strong start with our video posts. Gain momentum with each consecutive one, right? Look to ways to improve, learn from others. Stay constructive in your feedback, and I think we're there. I think we've got a great supportive group going, and let's work toward some fantastic end goals. Okay, and this course will be flying by, right? I'm already anxious for how quickly we're moving from step to step. Okay, those are the video announcements for Week 2, COM 4413, Communication and Cultural Change.